Did you know that your brain's reward system is secretly controlling your life? It's all thanks to a powerful chemical called dopamine. While it's the same chemical that fuels motivation and happiness, it can also be a silent saboteur. In fact, we're more addicted to dopamine than ever before. A recent study showed that 75% of people check their phones every hour. And every time we do, we get a tiny dopamine hit. But here's the problem. Too many hits and your brain starts to crave constant stimulation, leaving you stuck in a loop of quick rewards and little satisfaction. What's even more shocking? Studies reveal that excessive dopamine can cause long-term damage, affecting everything from your focus to your mental health. That's right, you could be sabotaging your own success without even realizing it. In this video, we're diving into the science behind dopamine, why it's ruining your mind, and how to take back control. You'll learn how to break free from the dopamine trap, build better habits, and reset your brain in just 7 days. So, are you ready to take control of your mind? Let's get started. Chapter 1. Dopamine, your brain's secret weapon, or silent saboteur. Dopamine is often called the feel-good chemical, but its role goes beyond just making us feel happy. It's a neurotransmitter that controls reward, motivation, and pleasure. When you accomplish something, dopamine floods your brain, making you feel great. But it's not just about feeling good, it also drives us to repeat behaviors. Think of it as your brain's reward system, constantly encouraging you to do things that feel good. However, here's the catch. Too much dopamine can turn this system from a motivator into a trap. Modern life is filled with quick rewards, social media likes, fast food, Netflix binges. Each time you check your phone or snack, your brain gets a little dopamine rush. Sounds harmless, right? But over time, these tiny hits add up and can overstimulate your system. Studies show that high levels of dopamine over a long period can lead to addiction, anxiety, and even depression. It's not just about too much dopamine, it's about balance. When your dopamine system is off kilter, your focus decreases, and your energy drains. You may feel unmotivated to work on bigger goals that take time and effort. In other words, the more you chase instant pleasure, the less likely you are to find long-term happiness. The solution? Control the flow of dopamine and use it wisely to stay motivated and focused. Chapter 2. The dopamine trap. Why instant gratification is ruining you. Let's be real, instant gratification is everywhere. It's as easy as scrolling through social media, munching on a bag of chips, or watching the next episode on Netflix. But did you know that these little hits of pleasure are training your brain to crave even more? Dopamine doesn't just make you feel good in the moment, it also makes you crave more of the same. According to research from the National Institutes of Health, instant rewards like these can overstimulate your brain's reward system, making it harder to enjoy activities that require effort. A 2019 study published in Psychological Science found that people who frequently seek out instant gratification tend to have lower self-control and struggle with long-term goal achievement. Why does this happen? Because your brain gets conditioned to expect quick, easy rewards. This constant cycle makes tasks like working on a project or sticking to a fitness routine feel less exciting. Your brain, now addicted to dopamine hits, prefers tasks that give immediate pleasure over those that offer delayed rewards. This is the dopamine trap in full force. How do we break free? First, recognize that these quick rewards are hijacking your brain. Start by identifying the behaviors that give you instant satisfaction. Then, try to reduce or eliminate them for a while. Yes, this might feel uncomfortable at first, but trust me, it's worth it. Rewiring your brain takes time, but it's the first step toward regaining control of your life. Chapter 3. The dopamine detox. Reclaim your mind in 7 days. If you're feeling overwhelmed by constant dopamine hits, it's time to take action with a dopamine detox. Don't worry, this doesn't mean you have to lock yourself in a dark room for days. A dopamine detox is simply about taking a break from overstimulation. The goal is to give your brain a rest from the constant cycle of instant rewards and reset your system. Here's a simple 7-day plan to get started. Day 1. Eliminate social media and unnecessary screen time. Studies show that limiting screen exposure can reduce the brain's dependency on dopamine. Day 2. Cut back on junk food and caffeine. Both of these substances cause dopamine spikes that can lead to addiction. Instead, Nourish your body with wholesome foods to balance your dopamine levels naturally. Day 3. Engage in physical activity. Exercise is a natural dopamine booster that also promotes overall mental health. Research from Harvard shows that regular physical activity boosts dopamine levels, leading to better focus and mood. Day 4. Practice mindfulness or meditation. These techniques can help calm your brain, reducing the overstimulation of dopamine-producing behaviors. Even 10 minutes a day can be powerful. Day 5. Try journaling or setting goals. Writing down your thoughts and planning your day can help you regain focus and reduce distractions. Day 6. Connect with others face-to-face. Socializing without the pressure of instant digital interaction can help your brain reset. And finally, Day 7. Reflect on your progress. How do you feel? Do you notice a difference in your mood, energy, and focus? A dopamine detox may sound like a challenge, but it's one of the most effective strategies for reclaiming your mind. By removing distractions and overstimulation, you give your brain the chance to reset. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate dopamine, it's to regain control and make it work for you, not against you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated with more strategies to take back control of your brain. Chapter 4. Master your dopamine. The science of motivation and self-control. Mastering dopamine is all about understanding how it fuels motivation and self-control. Dopamine isn't just the pleasure chemical, it's your brain's internal GPS, guiding you toward rewards. When you take action that gets you closer to a goal, dopamine is released, reinforcing that behavior. It's why you feel great after crossing things off your to-do list. But here's the problem: if you let dopamine run wild, it can make you chase after distractions instead of your goals. Research from the University of California shows that motivation is directly tied to dopamine. In a 2015 study, scientists found that dopamine levels increased when people worked on a task that they found meaningful. But the dopamine rush was weaker when the task was boring or repetitive. This explains why you feel energized when doing something you love, but exhausted when doing something that doesn't interest you. So, how do you use dopamine to your advantage? The first step is to align your tasks with things that naturally motivate you. Find a deeper reason behind your goals, something that excites you. When you're genuinely engaged in something, dopamine flows more freely, and you'll find yourself staying focused and driven. Studies also show that breaking large goals into smaller, achievable tasks can give you that consistent dopamine boost, helping you maintain momentum. Another powerful strategy is delaying gratification. It sounds counterintuitive, but when you resist immediate pleasures, you train your brain to find joy in long-term rewards. The book The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg explains how habit loops work: cue, routine, reward. By tweaking your routine to include productive tasks, you can rewire your brain to associate dopamine with positive, long-term behaviors. Chapter 5. The hidden dangers of dopamine addiction. From burnout to breakdown, we often think of dopamine addiction as something extreme, like drug addiction or gambling. But the reality is much more subtle, and far more common. Overloading your brain with constant dopamine hits from social media, food, or entertainment can lead to burnout and emotional breakdowns. Dopamine addiction doesn't just make you crave quick rewards, it can also lead to anxiety, poor decision-making, and a lack of fulfillment. In fact, studies show that people who experience high levels of dopamine due to constant distractions are more prone to burnout. Research from the University of Michigan suggests that overstimulation depletes your brain's resources, making it harder to focus and process emotions. In the long run, this depletion can leave you feeling mentally and physically drained. Why does this happen? When you rely on instant dopamine hits, your brain becomes desensitized to them. It's like turning up the volume on your favorite song. You need to increase the dose to feel the same high. But this only leads to a cycle of diminishing returns. In The Dopamine Nation by Dr. Anna Lemke, she explains how chasing dopamine causes an emotional numbness, where nothing feels as rewarding as it once did. Over time, you lose your ability to feel deeply about anything, which is a recipe for emotional exhaustion. The solution isn't to eliminate dopamine from your life, it's to balance it. One way to combat dopamine addiction is to introduce periods of dopamine fasting. This means intentionally choosing to step back from things that overstimulate you, allowing your brain to recalibrate. Regular breaks from social media, fast food, or even work can help your brain recover and restore its natural sense of balance. Another method is practicing mindfulness and meditation. These techniques help you build awareness of your cravings and desires. By being present in the moment, you can gain more control over the impulses that drive you toward unhealthy dopamine-seeking behaviors. Learning to manage your dopamine levels will help you protect your mental health and avoid the dangers of addiction. Chapter 6. Rewire your brain. Sustainable habits to keep dopamine in check. Rewiring your brain to keep dopamine in check is a long-term process, but it's well worth the effort. It starts with building sustainable habits that encourage healthy dopamine flow. The goal is not to suppress dopamine entirely, but to channel it in ways that support your overall well-being and personal growth. One of the most effective ways to do this is through physical exercise. Regular physical activity, especially aerobic exercises like running or cycling, increases dopamine production in the brain. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that exercise enhances dopamine receptors, making it easier for the brain to release dopamine in response to positive activities. So, if you want to boost your mood and motivation, incorporate exercise into your daily routine. Another important habit is getting enough sleep. Sleep isn't just essential for rest, it's crucial for maintaining a balanced dopamine system. Research shows that chronic sleep deprivation can lead to a decline in dopamine receptors, making you more vulnerable to addiction and burnout. Aim for 7-9 hours of sleep each night to give your brain the recovery it needs. Mindful eating also plays a big role in dopamine regulation. When you eat nourishing foods, especially those rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and protein, you provide your brain with the nutrients it needs to function optimally. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, diets high in sugar and processed foods can disrupt dopamine levels and lead to mood swings. Opt for whole foods that stabilize blood sugar and provide steady, lasting energy throughout the day. Creating a routine that involves goal setting is another key habit to form. Dopamine thrives when you make progress towards something meaningful. Set small, manageable goals that lead to larger accomplishments. Research shows that tracking progress, even on minor tasks, can provide dopamine boosts that keep you motivated. Don't forget to celebrate small wins. They signal your brain that you're on the right track. Finally, practicing gratitude can have a powerful effect on your dopamine levels. Studies show that expressing gratitude triggers dopamine release, making you feel happier and more connected. Taking a moment each day to reflect on what you're thankful for can help shift your focus away from fleeting pleasures and toward lasting satisfaction. By establishing these sustainable habits, you can rewire your brain to use dopamine in ways that enhance your life, rather than detracting from it. It takes time, but the rewards are worth it. You'll not only regain control of your dopamine system but also experience increased productivity, better emotional health, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. If you found these strategies helpful, make sure to subscribe for more tips on how to boost your productivity and mental well-being.